go. Here we go. Alright, so we are live in the Dusty Granny event group. Today is the Crafters Extravaganza. And we'll be batch making some things today because I have some stuff that I needed to work on. So hopefully you guys will come, tag along, see what we're doing, and stay tuned because up after me will be Growing Crafts by Kim. And we still have a day filled with creators, so make sure that you are here watching everybody, going back and getting inspired. I loved the hat shape. It was patriotic, that our friend did right before I came live. It was really, really cool. So y'all definitely need to stick around because you never know what you're gonna see. And hello there, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you, Miss Wendy. I appreciate it very, very much. Hello there, Miss Kim. So let's get started. So like I said, I am going to be batch making some stuff today, because I have, hey there, Miss Yvonne, I have a raid train coming up, so I need to make some stuff for it. So y'all are gonna tag along while I work on some items for that. Hello there, Miss Brandy. Welcome in, friends. Again, thank you guys for being here. I really need to clean up my desk. It is a blam mess. Alright. So, I'm going to be using this, it's called Fairy Forest. It's a paper pad that I got from Recollections. They still have it. It's one of their newer pads. And it's got some really cute papers in here. And I've already used some of the images because they're really, really cute. From doing housework. Aww. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad I can be a nice distraction. Yeah, housework can be boring. I get it. I you know, when I do, like, I do housework and stuff, I do have you guys in the background. It's really nice to be able to find people when you guys are live and doing things and being able to, get distracted that way. So it's a good thing. So like I said, there's some really cute prints in here. Some great little details. I absolutely love this page here. Somehow I'm going to figure out how to use this for like a cover because it's just so cool. But the theme of the event that I'm co-hosting is like dark garden, so I want to use some of these darker images for that. And I've already used some of these previously, so we're just gonna be using some more of these. Like I said, I absolutely love this paper pad. It is just so gorgeous, and I just love the dark fairies and all the things. It's just really, really cool. Hello there. You couldn't find me on your page. Well, that's odd. Look at how cool this is. This would be so cool, like a background, Like I said, it's a very, very, very pretty pad. And it does have the elements of fairies and dark and just all the things. So, that's why I pulled it out. Well, why I kept it out, better said, because I never put it away after I used it last time. So we're going to be cutting some of these papers down. We're going to be turning them into pockets. Things of that nature, because I think it would be really cool. These are the fairies themselves don't have the sugar glitter, but the rest of white does. Again, very fun textural. I need to find another darker one. I wonder, yeah, this one could work. I will be there. I will come and check you out, my friend. Come and see what you're up to. Miss Kim is up after me, and I'm excited to see what she will be creating. I believe she said she's actually going to be working in steampunk journal, right? Did I get that right? I think that's what you were telling me. So that'll be fun. So one of the things, whether you are doing it, like in my case, I'm doing it for a raid train on whatnot, or you're doing them for yourself, it is really good if you can have a day where you can do like mass production. And that is just where you either make a bunch of blanks that you can decorate, or like in my case, I already have a theme, and so I know that I need to create based off of a specific theme, so I can go ahead and make a bunch of them. Good. Okay, so let's start with cutting this one down. I had to get some of those extra pieces of paper out. That's what I was doing. So this one is kind of like crystals and stuff. So let's go ahead and let's start cutting. And let's make these at 3. Hey there, Miss Lisa. How are you doing, Miss Lisa Ferguson? I hope you are well. And then the last one will, should be, well, it's close enough. It'll be fine. It'll be okay. So I'm just going to set this down for a little bit. Alright, so I have my 4 strips. One is just slightly smaller, and that'll be okay. That'll be alright. And then we have our strips, right? So there's lots of things that you can do with strips of paper. We can do pockets where we can layer on top. Cooking lunch. Oh, that's awesome. And then, so you can trim these down and then add a pocket where you can add things to them. Right? So let's do that with one of them. So just trim these down the middle. Yeah, the last time I used this paper pad, we did this little booklet here. It's still sitting next to me. And we just used the different pieces in here to make this cute little accordion book. Right as I was getting ready to come on, we had an omelet. I made omelet with toasted zucchini bread. It's just yummy. Alright, so figure out which side you want, because you're gonna only be able to see like the top half of it. And I think I like those sides. Okay, and then this is where you decide like what you want for your pocket. Okay, So we have those two. We'll come back to them in a bit. You can also take your strips. Now remember, these were 12-inch pieces of paper. And I'm trying to get it to where... Let me get my thing out. Because 12 divided by 4 divided by 3 would be 4 inches. So, if I mark this at 4 inches. Hey there, Miss Amy. How are you? I should get 3 equal spots. So now we have a little accordion for that. This one right here, we are going to actually make some more pockets with it. That's what I want to do. How are you? Hopefully you are well and having a blessed day. Now these papers are cardstock. Just as an FYI. And then these, let's make them also at the 1/2 inch. Well, I was in the same boat, and then I was like, you know what? I need to make stuff for an upcoming raid train, because I'm co-hosting a raid train on Friday, and I'm co-hosting a raid train on Sunday. So I need to get crack-a-lackin' with making stuff for these trains. So I figured I'd come on and work on them. We're going to use this here in a bit, so that's why I went ahead and grabbed it. Alright, so these are our pockets. And you can either take an existing and cut it to make the bottom half if you want it to be all uniform, but because I do kind of want them to be slightly different from each other, we are going to utilize I'm thinking this one right here. Actually, no, this one would look better. Okay. And this is a lot of how I tell you I do not measure stuff is because I do not measure per se. Okay. So we did say that these were 3 inches by 6. So needed to be about 2 inches high. At least about 2 inches, if not 3. So, alright, let's go halvesies. Let's go 2.5 with it. There we go. Two and 3/4. So this is what I'm looking at. I'm looking at having the space, okay, to create the pocket on here. And then those were at 3 inches. So we're going to cut these at 3 inches. And like I said, this is mass producing, so okay. Oop, which is the shorter one now? I gotta find the shorter one. There, that's the shorter one. Remember, we had one that came out just a tad bit short. One of our strips was just a tad bit short, so one of these ended up being a tad bit short. So we'll use it here. I actually like that right there. So I'm gonna just pair it up with which ones I want where. So this is the short ones. I'm gonna pull it out because if not, I'm not gonna have the right sizes. Like I said, it's not really directional, so you can pick. Obviously, if your paper is directional, then you do need to be mindful of the direction that you're grabbing, but this crystal paper is not directional. It is not directional at all. I think I cut one of these papers a little too big. I like that. Okay, so let's start gluing and doing all the things. So we need to make notches. If you have a circle punch is great for making your thumb notch. There is a specific thumb notch punch, but if you have a circle, that's all you need. Let's unstick this over here. And that's what I'll be doing for today while I'm watching you guys in the background, is I'll be working on all of these kinds of things, because like I said, I need to have an array of things made up. Just trying to cover some of those white edges because the core of this paper is white. And hubby just got home from work, so he was trying to talk to me as I was getting ready to go live about his crazy day from work. So I'll be listening. And then I'll be hopping back to do these kinds of things again. And then once I've got my pockets done and obviously some tags done for them, I am going to, you know, put little elements on here. And then that's where you dress up. So if you can sit down and make a bunch of the bases, then all you have to do is decorate them. And like I said, you can do these in, you know, like base, and then you just decorate them based off of whatever theme you have. But because I already have a theme that I need, that's why I already know that I can pick, you know, this type of paper. But if all you're doing is doing a mass production, you can do them in different colored cardstock or a base colored cardstock, and then let your decor elements be, you know, what defines them. So you could make them all like in creams or whites, and then come back in with, you know, stickers and scraps of paper that go with whatever your theme is. You need a pre-cut fabric. I don't always have pre-cut fabric, just because not all of my journals are always the exact same they're not always the exact same height and width. They really do vary. So that's usually something I just do when I'm putting together. But usually a fat quarter is a good size to have stuff cut down to. Any word on baby yet? Baby? What am I missing about baby? So definitely stay tuned, because we do have a day filled with creators, and it is Crafter's Choice, so you're gonna see all kinds of stuff today. Aww. Well, congratulations. That is awesome. She's gonna be a grandma. Grandma, a mima. All the things. How exciting. See, this is what I get for not paying attention to chats. I totally missed that. That's why many times when somebody is looking for like a fill-in, I'm like the last one to respond. Unless you message me directly. Because I am really bad about checking. No, I did not make a masterboard. What I am doing is I am mass producing pockets and tags today. So we're just taking 12 by 12s and cutting them down and getting them ready. So hey there, Miss Michelle. Welcome in, dear. Welcome in. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and round our corners. Just because I like rounded corners. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do rounded corners on all of them. And then we can go on to making some tags to go in here. Master boards are fun to make. Not yet. Well, fingers that baby will be here soon. And as long as baby and mommy are healthy, that's all that matters. Baby will come when baby will come. But how exciting. She's gonna be a grandma. Oh, you love my little rounder? Yeah, I've actually got this one from Hobby Lobby. And it's awesome because it just stays here on my desk. I do have the 3 one. But yeah, that one is super handy. I actually have one in my go bag because it's so small that I can take it with me. And it doesn't take up as much space as the 3 one does. Don't get me wrong, the 3 one is cool because it does have like the different size angles to it. But that one's just super cute. And he wasn't that expensive either, so yeah, next time you guys are there, Paper Studio, check it out and see if you guys can find a little mini rounder for your stash, because like I said, it's super cute, super handy. And then I love my 2 size circle punch. That's always good to have. And I figured that's 1 punch instead of having like 2 separate punches, you know. Alright, now this one is very pretty, so I definitely want to turn it into tags. But I'm gonna have to be strategic if I want to keep certain elements visible. And then we have to remember that that thing is also 3 inches, which means that our tags are going to have to be less than 3 inches for them to go properly into our for them to fit properly into our, you know, pockets that we've made, right? So, you know, like that is, well, I think that's the smaller one. Here's our 3-inch one, right? Oh, it's actually not even 3. Yeah, it is right there, 3 inches. So we're definitely going to have to be looking at 2.5. 2.5 is what we need to look at. So 2.5. And I'm going to look because, see, like if I do 2.5 right there, it's going to cut that butterfly that I don't want cut. So for now, I'm going to rotate my page and see what 2.5 on this side does. And again, it is kind of cutting what I don't want. So I'm going to go ahead and trim. And nothing's going to go to waste because we will end up using it all. But I want to make sure that I can get the elements in that I want. So, and then this one is just such a large image, truthfully, that I'm going to have to do something else with that image. And that's fine. Not a problem. We will use that differently. So then let's look at our next page that we were looking at utilizing. So let's see what 2.5 does on this paper. So while I am quote unquote measuring, I'm also still trying to be mindful that I'm getting somewhat of the image that I want in. You know? Like these will probably end up having to become something else. Just because of where they sit. Okay. Now let's look and let's make sure that these are going to fit. Because, you know, that's always a thing to make sure. So yeah, these things will fit. And this one might be a little on the tight side, but it'll still fit. Yeah, it'll still fit. It'll just be a little on the tighter side. Okay. And if I wanted to, just trim off a little itsy bitsy little piece. Now comes the part of, remember the length of our pockets is 6. So that means that our tags need to be less. They need to be about 5 or 4. Okay, so there's one. Yes, thank you so much, Miss Tracy, for going and checking so we can know about Miss Tracy and her daughter. Now if you don't have one of these punches, don't fret. You can always just cut the edges or round them. It's totally fine. But I am going to go ahead and use my, and it just makes this cute pattern right there. That one I may have to cut by hand, because some of these are just a little too big for I do think that the images are super cute. So this one does do 1.5, 2, and 2.5 as far as the width of the tag. So if you do have one that is going to be wider, it really won't fit in this punch. And sometimes we do like those jumbo tags, so that's fine. There's all the stuff. There's all the stuffs from it. Okay, so what do you do if you have one that doesn't fit? Not a problem. You can make it look like a regular, like the normal tag that we think of, right? Oh, that you've got all the that it does only certain sizes. Yeah, I know. The only way around that is to have a die, but we don't always like. So I cut a triangle, right? And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take the triangle and I'm going to flip it onto the other side and use it as a guide so that my sides match. See? So now you have more of that traditional tag look that we think of. And round these corners. Can do that on all of them. It also helps so that they don't snag when they're going in and out of pockets. And I just don't like pointy paper, guys. So I will round my corners. You do the hard way with a ruler. That's how I learned to do them. I was like, that is so easy. And that's how I used to do all my tags before I got this little punch thing. And then of course we need our little hole in here. So I keep, you know, one of the old school paper punchy things. And you can just use that to punch your tag hole. And now you have tags. So let's go ahead. How many brown things do I have for real? Well, it is the color that I tend to use the most. You could use any color that you want. You could use a color that complements your paper. So like we could use purples or blues for these. But I'm just going with my favorite and just doing a walnut stain or a vintage photo on them. Now, if you don't do all the inking in between and all you're doing is punching, cutting, getting, you know, stuff out, you can make a whole lot more of these in a short amount of time. But I do want to go and get these inked up so that they will be semi-finished for you guys to see. Big tags. Big tags are fun. These are going into pockets, but yeah, big tags are fun. You honestly, you can make a tag whatever size you want. You can have a really big tag and turn it into the front and the back of a journal. So, I mean, and if you look at certain tags, like evidence tags and layaway tags, and they tend to be on the larger side because you have to like write a lot of information on there. So, tags are just great to make in general. Oh, cool. Yes, 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 yes. Oh, where'd I go with my pockets? Here are my pockets. Okay. So, I want to see if I can match maybe some of the images. Okay, so this, let's see, this one right here, it kind of looks like it could go with this one. So we're going to put that one in there. Right there, like that. Put the blue with the butterfly for that one. Since we have one of those egg looking things, we'll put this one here. And then for this one, because it is a smaller one, that one will work. And I still have 2 tags left. But I also had 2 of these left, remember? So let's look at how tall these ones are. And let's come in here and just give them a teeny tiny I think that was the drugstore trying to get a hold of me because they're having to deliver my migraine medicine today. So just making these cute little, and like I said, these are actually for the raid train on Sunday because it's dark garden themed, which I think is a very fun theme to play with. So I have not tried Botox. This is a new medication that my neurologist is wanting me to do. This is will be my third one, and I'll go back in a few months to see how it's working, because we've tried all kinds of oral medications, and I've done all kinds of experimental drugs with my previous neurologist, and nothing really helped. So we shall see what ends up happening. See, look at that. Look at how cool those came out. Neat, huh? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We made 6 out of 1 12 by 12. Along with, we still have this right here. Cool. Well, we shall see, because there's only so much that they, you know, can give you, and if it don't work, then they move on to try the next thing, and it is what it is, right? I've had them for as long as I can remember, honestly, into my early childhood, so I'm willing to try whatever. I really, really am. So this we're actually going to turn into like a little booklet. If that makes any sense. Okay. And so we're going to take some of the strips of stuff that was left over, and that way you can do it a few different ways actually. You can do it where it opens up like this, like that, or you can turn it and then you decorate the fronts where the white is, and then you open it up and you have the color. Obviously, if you have double-sided paper for this, it works a lot better because there's less decorating that you have to do. But I'm okay with the decorating because in that way I can like add stuff to it. Plus, this is where we get to play also. We can play with our inks, and if you have sprays, you can play with those. Now, where is my purple? Here's my purple. I'm like, where did my purple go to? Actually, let me try something. Let me do it differently. I'm just spraying a little bit of water on here. Oh, and I need to refill that. That's getting pretty empty. There we go. And then I'm going to take my paper and just blot it. See, look. You can do this like with multiple colors, and it just gives it a really neat effect. So you're making your own color paper. Then you just let that dry. And where are my wipes? And then once it's dry, you can go in with a different color if you wanted to. So it's a great way to play with your distress inks. If you've never done it before. What do I want to grab? We're going to need to spray this. Ah! Come on, work with me. I know I need to fill you back up. I need you to work. Just for a little bit, and then I'll put some more water in you. Because I don't have any water. At least not handy. Ah, okay, we're gonna try this maybe a little different way. Spraying is better, guys, I will tell you that, because you're gonna get less puddles, which is what you kind of want to avoid, because you know paper and water is not a good mixture. So spraying is better, just saying. You are coming to the kitchen with me. Yes, go get ready, my friend. Be exciting to see what you create today. Ooh. Yee! Messy art. My favorite kind of art. Oh, now I totally stained that. Alright, now we just need that to actually dry. So I am going to pull out my heat tool, because that last bit definitely had way too much water. But if you spray, it works really good. So definitely give it a try. It's a fun technique to give kind of like a ink water effect. My pleasure. And then this is just going to turn into like a little flip book. We'll add pockets to it. Add some cute little, some of those little images that I was showing you from the pages, we'll fussy cut those out and add them to this. Now, if you need that to be flatter, you can always iron this for a little bit to get it to be flatter, you know. So here's some of the images that I had cut out last time that I have left over. So let's see what we got that we can add. I do like her, but she may be too big, so she's not gonna work. She would work. Yeah, these are some of the larger elements, that's why I didn't use them last time. Now I remember. Okay, so we're gonna fussy cut this out, and like I said, we have only a few minutes before we're gonna go and see Miss Kim. And make sure that you are watching, everybody. You can see all of the lives and replays in the Dusty Granny event group. It is a free group of events. Miss Wendy hosts her Crafters Extravaganza on Tuesdays, and one Tuesday it is a crafter's choice. The following it will be journaling. So come in, make sure to check the group out. It is a fun group, and I do love to participate whenever I am available. So thank you so much for having me, Miss Wendy. I'm glad I was able to hop on and help out, and I hope you guys liked the idea of mass producing and maybe even the new technique of using your inks in a different way. Okay, so yeah, look at how cool. We'll just add her smack there in the middle. I think she's gonna be really cute as a focal point. Oh, actually I kind of like her on the outside, so we're gonna add her on the outside. But thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm gonna keep on working on these things. Please stay tuned and go and watch Miss Kim, and I will see everybody